with a heavy heart, I'm going to do an update video on what's going on with the 2005 F-150. So, this truck has been with me since high school. It was my first truck, and I've really taken good care of it. But unfortunately, you know, the years of plowing and making money with it, the salt has gotten up in the frame, and, you know, the 04 to 08 F-150s are notorious for the frames rusting out. And the frame rot is just, it may be repairable, but to me, you know, I look at it and I see it's just rusting all over internally. You know, even if I fix the spots where there's holes in the frame, I'm sure more are going to pop up, and I really question the structural integrity of the frame. So for safety reasons, it's time to take this truck off the road. But furthermore, I started having a delayed gear engagement. When I go from park into drive, there's about a 5 or 6 second delay, which it's likely it's something in the valve body that I probably could repair or replace myself. I've been doing a lot of research on what it would take to rebuild that transmission, which I really want to attempt. I think it'd be a fun project, but I can't justify doing that because of the condition of the frame. So unfortunately, it's time to cut the cord. It's time for me to just make the decision, and this truck is decommissioned. So my current plans are, I need to remove everything off the truck. I need to remove all the snow plowing components, the front receivers, the isolation module, the wiring, the control unit that leads to the battery. In addition to the snow plow stuff, I need to remove all my other accessories. You know, I've got the rotating light bar, all the little light bars. I'll probably leave the top light bar. But there's a subwoofer in the back, so there's a lot of accessories I need to take out of this truck, and that's what I plan to do next. As for what I'm going to do with the truck, I went on a website, junked my car, and they offered me $720, $730. I really think I can get more for the truck, so my current plan, I'm going to put it on Facebook Marketplace, clearly list the issues of the truck, and I'm going to ask $3,000, and I'm probably going to go 2 weeks or 3 weeks and see if anybody will take it for $3,000, and then if not, then I'll probably just sell it to the highest bidder, because I think I'm going to get a lot more on Facebook Marketplace than what I would get at, say, a junkyard, which they're only going to pay me scrap. Or if I do the junk my car, you know, I could part it out, but I don't really have the time right now to take off all the parts and store them and then ship them out. So, I mean, maybe I could get the most money that way, but really just don't have the time. Really just want to take everything off it and send it on its way. So, really hard decision to make, because it's just been such a great truck, so many memories in it, but you gotta know when it's time to move on, and it's time to move on. So because I'm getting rid of this truck anyway, I might as well tell you the quick story of how I got this nasty scar on the tailgate from the front snowplow on my truck. I know what you're asking, how in God's name did you get that nasty mark on the tailgate from the front plow? Well, here's what happened. It was one of those nasty January storms that started off as rain, transitioned to snow, and then the temperature just dropped down to like 5 degrees. So I'm guessing the water somehow snuck its way into my latch, and I went to open up the back of the truck to get a snow shovel. The tailgate opened, but it wouldn't close. So the tailgate was down, and for whatever reason, I thought the best thing to do would be to take the tailgate off the truck, perhaps because I was doing a lot of backing up, and that's just like an extra 1.5 feet off the rear bumper that would have stuck off. So I took that tailgate off, and I threw it in a snowbank at my house. Well, it kept snowing. Snowed probably another 6 inches, and went out. I was doing all my clients, and then finally, after the snow had finished, and I come back home, plow my own driveway, plowing up the driveway, go to push it off onto the grass, and then I hear, "Arr!" And then it dawned on me, I had thrown my tailgate in a snowbank. Not the brightest idea, but it's a good story. And it gives the truck some character. So I'm going to tell you one other story. It's probably one of my favorite stories, and this dates back to Hurricane Sandy. So for those of you that don't know, Hurricane Sandy was a really nasty hurricane that went up the Atlantic coast and turned pretty much right into the tri-state area and wreaked havoc. I've never seen a storm like that. That was really, really crazy. I spent the first 2 days, 48 hours at the fire department volunteering. and we took maybe 350 calls in the first 2 days. And for us, that's about half our annual call volume. I pretty much lived in my bunker gear for 2 days. We'd get back to the firehouse from a run, and then instantaneously we'd get called out for another run. Just flooding conditions, trees coming down on houses, down power lines. We also had a structure fire mixed in there. A fun little story, when we were out on one of these runs, we were trying to get to some kind of call. I forget what it was, but had the fire truck out, and it was probably a 36-inch tree that came down across the road, of course, before we got there. So we went to turn around and go back out the way we came, but before we could get out of that development, another tree came down, so we were pretty much locked between two trees. It's a good thing we come prepared and have chainsaws and gear on the truck, so we had to cut up that tree in order to escape. Really crazy storm. So day 4 and 5, I decided to volunteer some of my time at the ambulance corps, which I don't really go there much anymore, but fun fact, I'm still an EMT. And FEMA decided to bring in the National Guard and bring in supplies, water, and mainly MREs, which MREs are meals ready to eat, commonly eaten by the military, basically survival food. So they decided to bring the National Guard with those supplies and station the supplies at the ambulance corps for anybody in the community that needed those supplies. And we were instructed by, I forget whom, perhaps the mayor, to go meet the National Guard and escort them into town. And we didn't want to take the ambulances out of the building because there's other ambulance members throughout the community, so if there was a run, that way they have access to the ambulances. So when I say we, me and my friend Kyle took my truck and we went and met the National Guard and we escorted them lights and sirens into town. It's probably one of the most glorious stories I have of driving this truck, so yeah, some good memories. Hard to let go, but sometimes change is good. Can't let it slow you down.